Hey and welcome to mffl TV. I'm your host Dylan, and today we're going to talk about 5 of the biggest takeaways that I took from Mavs Media Day. Before we get into the video though, like and subscribe, it really does help out the channel. Now with that being said, let's go straight into number 1. For me, the biggest takeaway is Jason Kidd saying that Porzingis will play the 4 and is likely to start the season as the power forward. For me, this is huge. Personally, I'd probably have him at the 5. I think because of these injuries especially, he's a bit too slow laterally for me and often gets burned. However, a lot of the talk has been about how good he's looking, how athletic he's looking. So maybe, he's recovered a bit of that. He can, stay with defenders. If he gets beat, maybe be active enough for a chase down block. So I'm intrigued to see how this goes. Not only that, but what Jason Kidd said as a whole. It's looking like KP is going to have a much bigger role next season. He has the green light to post up more. He's going to try and get more touches, shoot more mid-range shots, which I've been talking about quite a bit on this channel. I think, just posting up, he doesn't always need to rely on a hook or out-muscling a defender, because that's not really his game. However, if he gets it on the post, he can always face up. He's 7'3", he can shoot it over that defender. There's not that many people that can get a hand to that. I think that's a pretty good shot more often than not. So I'm really expecting KP to have a really big season next season. However, for me, the most interesting thing is who's going to start at that center position. Could we see a lineup like this? Could Moses Brown be that guy who impresses in training camp, in preseason, and really takes over? Not only that, but with Porzingis sliding to the 4, for me, it means either Hardaway Jr. or Reggie Bullock is going to move to the bench. Let me know down below, who would you start? Let's say KP's at the 4, Luka's at the 1. What would your other 3 positions be? I think there's so many different options you can have, and I'm keen to see what everyone says. For me, I'd probably go with this if Porzingis moves to the 4. At least that way we can have a lot of flexibility off the bench. Tim Hardaway Jr. can come on, close the game out as well and just light it up. And Bullock can be our predominant perimeter defender with Dorian Finney-Smith and make it easier for Luka as well. But for me, that's definitely the biggest takeaway. I'm surprised that he said KP is going to play at the 4, especially with all this talk about similar-ish players like Anthony Davis having to accept moving to the 5. We'll have to see depending on how it goes, but at least for now, that's definitely something to look forward to. But that's not all, so let's go straight into number 2. Jason Kidd saying Luka Doncic needs to trust his teammates more. And, Luka even agreed. He said that on and off the court, he needs to improve his leadership. He needs to trust his teammates. He didn't really say it verbatim, but he did say that he agreed with Jason Kidd. Also, similar-ish comparison. That's sort of what Phil Jackson came and did with Michael Jordan when he was in Chicago. Michael Jordan was always a fantastic scorer, always put up ridiculous stats. But when Phil Jackson came in, taught him how to rely on his teammates, that's really when they took that next level. So hopefully Jason Kidd's able to do something similar here in Dallas, and we can really take that next level. Because yes, Luka puts up crazy stats, but I feel like if other people get more involved, they're more, you're more likely to put more energy on defense. The morale gets a bit boosted if you have the ball more as well. So I think that's going to be a crucial thing. That's not saying Luka shouldn't have the ball the majority of the time. However, it does need to be a bit more balanced. KP needs to get his touches. Hardaway Jr. needs to make sure he gets his touches, just so that we can have multiple options and we're not so predictable. Number 3, Jason Kidd saying that Frank Ntilikina could eventually start. Look, most of these are what Jason Kidd said, just because, he's the new addition. I feel like this is the first time in a long time where we really have no idea how we're going to play, so we're looking for every little piece of information Jason Kidd says. Now, he said he hopes to eventually develop Frank Ntilikina into someone he can bring off the bench and eventually start one day. For me, this is key because it shows that there's some sort of plan with Frank Ntilikina. He wasn't just a late addition, sort of just to bolster the roster. They do eventually want to get him to be a core component of this team. I think he definitely has the assets. We definitely need defenders, especially one that can guard point guards. Frank Ntilikina is one of the best at that. Yes, his offense is very raw still. However, he's still very young and can develop. And luckily, we do have the coaches to do that. Jason Kidd's been known for developing young players, as well as Sean Sweeney. So hopefully, Frank can eventually become a really big component of this team. Moving on to number 4, Maxi Kleber, talking about his health. Last season he did suffer with COVID, a lot of injuries as well. Now he's saying that he feels a lot better and he's able to run and jump the way he hopes to. So I think that's going to be huge. It's looking like Maxi's probably going to come off the bench now that we know Porzingis is going to play the 4. And what that means is, we're going to get a really good guy off the bench, someone who can do a bit of everything, hit the 3, play some defense, get some boards, block some shots. I think that's something we definitely missed. Maxi, his shot blocking wasn't as good as it was in previous years. And just athletically, was a bit of a decline. So hopefully he's someone that can get out in transition, get some easy baskets as well. A lot of the times last season, I feel like we were very half-court orientated. And sometimes it's really important to get those easy baskets and not have to always work so hard for, let's say, a Luka step back or a Porzingis off the dribble pull-up jump shot. Sometimes you need those little baskets because they really do change the game over the course of the game. With a rejuvenated Maxi, I'm really keen to see a bench unit of, let's say, Brunson, Hardaway Jr., Sterling Brown, Maxi, and Dwight Powell. I think that'd be a really good bench and keep us in any game. It's probably one of the strongest benches in the league. You got Brunson and Tim Hardaway Jr. who can light it up. Hopefully Brunson can take that next level as well. Didn't mention it here, but another big thing is Brunson talking about how he wants to pick Jason Kidd's brain, learn about that point guard position. So hopefully he can do that, really run that second unit, be able to play make a bit more. That's definitely something he needs to improve on. And, help Maxi get his shots, help Hardaway Jr. get his shots, throw some lobs to Powell, give the ball to Sterling Brown. I think that's going to be really key. And sometimes, the starters don't have it that night. Our bench is strong enough to come in, change the game. Let's say the other team goes out on a big lead. They can bring the game back for us, and I think that's really key. As well, Powell and Maxi have really good chemistry. I think they would work together as that 4 and 5 off the bench. That's why I'm sort of hoping Moses Brown can blossom into that starting center, just because I think Powell and Maxi do work well off each other. And yeah, I'm really excited to see Maxi. Hopefully he looks good next season and can stay relatively healthy. And last but not least, it seems as if the KP and Doncic relationship is getting restored. I've been saying that I think a lot of it is overhyped by the media as well. But you can see how they sort of talk about each other in somewhat of a better light. Luka was harping on about how he thinks KP's in great shape, not only physically but mentally. He's applauding his athleticism at the moment. And similarly, KP saying, yes, I got the green light to post up, but I want to also be mindful of not clogging up the paint for Luka. And I think that's really important. To be a championship team, I think there needs to be some sort of selflessness. When there's too many egos, it sort of just breaks apart. JJ Redick sort of talks about that with the Clippers and how they sort of had their demise towards the end of their run. So I think, yes, there's always some level of ego with professional athletes, but this talk is, it's encouraging. Hopefully they can build that chemistry on the court as well and have a fantastic season next season. But I am so keen to see them play. Hopefully they can really impress. However, let me know, what did you take away from Media Day? What did I miss? What was something you heard where you thought was really important? Or do you think it's just a waste of time? Let me know. I'm keen to hear any opinions as well. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in that next video.